It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher.
Hey, happy Jelly Bean Day.
It's always Jelly Bean Day in my house.
It's
And
also
Ryder is along for the ride.
You can't legally charge someone with being an idiot.
That's
not
kind of
yet.
what I think about jelly beans.
I'm working on it. Trust me. Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We are very glad to be with you on a Tuesday morning. It is April the 22nd. I'm already up. I'm already wide awake. I'm already feeling Minnesota. Paul, what's happening?
Yeah, it's also Earth Day, so happy Earth Day as well. Hey, the city of Hopkins will change its name to Paige Beckers next month to honor the former resident and #1 WNBA draft pick. The city council adopted a motion to rename the city Paige Beckers for May 16th, coinciding with her WNBA debut.
I like
Pretty
it.
cool.
I
Yeah.
like it.
The Department of Education will resume collections on defaulted federal student loans on May 5th, potentially garnishing wages for millions of workers who have not made payments for over a year. Defaulted borrowers will be contacted before the May deadline and encouraged to set up an income-driven repayment plan or sign up for loan rehabilitation.
Oh my God! The only loan that nobody can ever get away from,
Right.
and you're telling me the system ain't rigged. You can get
to
out
say
of
the least.
anything except student loans.
100%. Like a teacher, this feels like a teacher scolding their students for not doing their homework. The Academy has instituted a key rules change for the 2026 Oscars, requiring that voters watch all the nominated movies in each category to participate in final voting.
What a concept!
I have no clue how they're going to enforce this.
Yeah.
How are you going to know if they actually watch the film? But also, this should just go without saying, right? If you're gonna vote,
they used to send out. They used to send everybody. What are they called? Screeners. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Now it's probably a link to just watch, and now they probably know if it's been watched.
You should be able to track whether or not it's been watched.
And then of course now they have to include the software from the laptop or the iPad that shows who's watching it. Don't give it to the household staff. You got to watch it, jerk, or your vote is invalid.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous.
Those screeners are distracting because it's like it pops your name up. It'll say Paul Fletcher bouncing around the screen while I'm trying to focus on.
Wow,
really important.
Nice flex. So you remember the Academy, apparently. I see what you're doing. They're a little humble brag. I'm a member of the Academy. I get screeners. It has my name.
No, those are just dumb marketing things where they want you to watch their film and talk about it.
I was really hoping you were a member of the Academy.
It would
Yeah,
be
we
fun.
would have had an in. Maybe
Yeah,
get some
man.
action movies into that top 10.
Come on.
Yeah, I think those things are the dumbest things in the world anyway, so I don't know if I'd want to be a part of it. In the town of Kawara, I think I'm saying that right, Japan, kids have found a new hobby.
Okay.
This is maybe my favorite thing I've read in a really long time. Trading cards featuring senior citizens and middle-aged men in the community.
All right, then.
I
feel
get the
like
seniors.
my Wally the Beer Man card's going to be real valuable over there.
A local artist put together the cards to showcase the hobbies and personalities of the guys, turning them into local celebrities. The most popular card is 68-year-old Mr. Fuji. He's a former prison guard turned community volunteer. His card is so popular the kids are lining up to get his autograph.
Badass.
Mr. Fuji coming around late in the game. I like it.
I love this,
Never
dude.
too late to be a celeb.
Oh, I want a trading card.
I wonder if Mr. Fuji gets screeners. Not yet. He will eventually.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah, he's not that cool just yet, but he'll get there. He's going to achieve, celeb status for sure. Globally, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I got. I love this. I love trading cards in Japan, like senior citizens. It's the best. It's cool.
I have one thing to say about Japan that I've said now for over 30 years, and it's very simple. The worst meal I ever had there was amazing.
Yeah.
Man, they got
That
food
friggin'
figured out.
airport in Tokyo, too. So slick.
Good Lord, they
Yeah.
got the food figured out.
Talking about flexes.
Let's talk a little bit of sports.
Okay.
Just like saying it like that.
Yeah.
Hey, there's an NFL draft coming up very soon, and it's being held in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Great.
You see it sometimes. It's like New York City and Nashville on Broadway with the honky tonks, or Vegas. Green Bay.
It's the stadium and like an illegal fireworks stand and a liquor store there. That's all they got running.
That's about it. Yeah, that's a real. Hey, world, welcome to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Welcome to Green Bay, Wisconsin. The draft is going on. It looks like J.J. McCarthy has full confidence from the coaching staff. He's ready to, quote, hit the ground running, according to Coach O'Connell. He's like, there's no way he'll throw more balls than he has in the last year rehabbing his knee. He's ready. He's the guy. They plan to be patient, the Vikings, that is, trying to figure out who the backup quarterback will be. in case you somehow missed it after all the Aaron Rodgers things. I mean, they're moving forward. JJ's the man.
Yep.
The JJ to JJ, that whole thing is going to take off this year. We'll see if we can. There's some merch JJ to JJ, I would imagine.
Hopefully we
right
hear
around the corner.
Hopefully we hear the call JJ. It's JJ to JJ.
That's it.
A billion times over.
Only
the course of the
4
season.
picks for the Vikings this year in the NFL draft. And O'Connell said that the roster, they did some nice free agency work already. He says we're in a place where we, quote, don't need to do anything to fill any glaring holes. If true,
That's a
nice
nice place
job.
to be.
That's
Yeah.
a really good place to be.
You can draft from a value rather than need that way. You know what I
exactly
mean?
right.
And maybe just zoom. If it's in Green Bay and it's only 4 picks, just zoom in for the draft.
I would imagine that's more than a few Viking staffers are wishing they could do just that.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Twins let us know, hey, we get it. We got some home games at the same time as the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up. We'll change our starting times to accommodate the
courteous of
influx.
them.
Hey, maybe they can play at 10 o'clock at night.
Sorry, it's going to be 6:40 p.m. Friday instead of 7:10. They're backing up a whole 30 minutes to help try to clear out. The Timberwolves don't tip off till 8:30 on Friday night, but the Twins are doing their part to make it a little easier for everybody downtown. And something tells me they looked at their win-loss total and went, yeah, we have to move our start.
Well, the
Yeah.
cool thing is
We can't hold on.
If you want to beat traffic and you're at the Twins game, you can probably leave by the 4th inning.
That's a very good point. What about Alexander Ovechkin? He broke Gretzky's all-time scoring record. He's still scoring goals. He got his first ever playoff overtime goal yesterday to propel the Capitals to a win. Hey, and I don't care who wins that series. I'm only thinking about one team. But hey, man, the guy's still just going at, what is he, 67 years old. Congratulations, Ovechkin.
Yeah.
And finally,
He turns 68 next month.
nothing surprising about this. Cooper Flagg from Duke, who as a freshman was the player of the year in college basketball, declared for the NBA draft for his wonderful season. Again, a freshman being named player of the year. He's going to be rewarded with a stint on either the Wizards, the Jazz, or the Hornets.
Oh, boy.
So that whatever destination he is rewarded with, he will soon be longing for the good old days of winning basketball while at Duke for one season. Wow, that's always the roughest thing. You're the best player in the country. Go to the worst team we have. Congratulations.
Now with the NIL, I mean, you'd think some of these guys would stick around a little longer.
Not when you're the best player, though. He just wants to. He's already got the Duke brand. He's already famous. Go for it, kid. Enjoy Charlotte.
Win a national title.
Hey, how about this? Chad Hassan, we're thinking of you today. Thinking of you every day because of your buddy or his royal purple badness, but especially today in the aftermath. Chad Hassan, Minnesota, you're on our minds. There are some people now, okay, coming up after some REM, there are people in the world, and I happen to know one. I'm close to somebody who's really freaked out by twins. Not the Minnesota Twins, siblings born together.
Right.
Siblings who shared a uterus, twins.
Yes.
Some people do think that twins are kind of creepy, and for the first time ever today, I kind of get it.
Oh, boy.
Twins. I had some twins as a kid when I was little in elementary school. James and John, identical twins, and they dressed. Their mom dressed them constantly in the same clothes, although with different color schemes. It'd be like the same corduroys and the same sweater, but one guy would have light brown, the other dark brown. It was always the same clothes, but different shades. And then they would, but they were, this was in elementary school, they were already pretending to be each other to teachers and to us, to other kids. But it doesn't, within a little bit of time, though, you started kind of realizing, no, you're not James, you're John. Like I was pretty sure I could tell them apart. Mm-hmm. But they did have there was total freaky connections going on with those guys. I mean, they would respond and react, and the facial different things they'd say at the exact same time. So, I mean, I really did think, and I've always had this theory that you tell me anything about twins or triplets and the bond they have and the way they see and feel things the same way, I'm like, yeah I believe it. Totally. I just, it makes perfect sense to me. I'm not a scientist, but I'm like, yeah, they came out at the same time. Of course they understand the world the exact same way.
Well, and they shared a lot before they were born. They shared everything, so yeah.
So, but that said, then every now and again I see something and I go, okay, this is just the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. A pair of twins, adult women in Australia, were interviewed. A kind of a crazy story down there. There was a car, a red Porsche, caused a deadly crash. It was a bad deal. Yeah. And then the dude in the Porsche got out, pulled a gun, shot another guy, and then he went on to carjack an SUV.
Right.
And then got into another wreck before the cops finally found him. So this is in a kind of a rural area of the country. And it's a lot of drama. I mean, a guy causes a crash and then carjacks another car to get away. It's kind of crazy. Well, these two women, Bridget and Paula Powers, 50 women in their 50s were there, and their mother, who's still with us, even tried to help the guy, the carjacker. She didn't realize he was at fault. She jumped into the middle to try to help the guy. Long story short, they were then interviewed, I should say, on the local news about the situation. And there's two women standing here together. They're identical twins. They're in their 50s, and they do not only look alike, but like the song says, they talk alike.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum. He went up there and he was coming back down towards us. And he goes, run, he's got a gun. and our heart started to pound. And I said, oh, Mum, where's Mum? And poor Mum was stuck up there. But apparently our brave Mum, she goes, are you all right? Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, I'll shoot you. She goes, hey, I'm here to help.
Okay, then. By the way, when you're watching it, it's even weirder.
Yeah.
But they're just, as you can hear, they're just finishing each other's sentences. They're saying the same exact words.
Yep.
Their hand gestures are the same. And by the way, not the first time they've ever been interviewed. They run like a bird sanctuary, and apparently they've, every now and again, somebody comes up and interviews them. They've been doing this. There are clips on YouTube that go back 11, 12 years, and this is just how they talk. And they say, well, we've just always been so close our whole lives, which is, I'm going to interpret that as we never had friends, and this is just how they communicate together, always.
I don't think I saw them blink one time either during that
And they're
interview.
wearing the exact same outfit.
There is
and
that.
This must have been close to Easter because it looks like a scrubs that you'd see at a hospital with freaking bunnies on it.
Yeah.
God, this whole thing just gives me goosebumps. It's like there's some weird echo going on that I can't fix.
We were there in the hospital, and they gave us these scrubs, and we said, let's put some bunnies on them.
I shared this on the Twitter yesterday and said this is my favorite scene from The Shining.
Pretty much so, yeah. No, and
Lord.
then the dingoes came. They had bad attitudes and razor-sharp teeth. And then we ran off, and our mum had the blood on her face. And I said, throw another shrimp on the barbie. I mean, it's just, it is as creepy as it gets.
And then a dingo ate my baby.
That's pretty much it. There's always time in my day for more dingo talk. Make no mistake about it. So anyway, Paula and Bridget, good to see you down there. Nicknames. I had several as a kid. There's a disturbing trend in our society. We've crossed the Rubicon. We're a little too sensitive. We are running out of the ideas. Well, no, we're not running out of ideas. We're deciding we're just putting a lid on it. No more nicknames. And by the way, I'm going to bitch about it. We talked about this briefly yesterday, but I needed to dive back in. There's an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. Not that I ever read the Wall Street Journal, but this one jumped out. A guy wrote, a writer for the Journal who has 5 kids of his own. Their ages are 6 to 18 years old. Not a single one of his children has ever been given a nickname by a friend. None of his children have ever given a nickname to a friend. And then he started discussing this with other kids' parents, teachers at school. Apparently, nicknames are a thing of the past, to which I say bunk.
Yeah,
The hell is wrong with us?
I don't know what if they are literally going bye-bye and we're not allowed to use them anymore, pretty much. I don't know what I'm going to call people.
There's two things here. Parents take the names of their children so seriously. They really, there are people who get paid to name your child. There are services.
Right.
We need the proper name. We want to put across a feeling of this kid will be picked on. I mean, that's what you're basically saying when you hire someone to name your own child.
Yep.
There are two things. Parents are way too precious with the names they give their children, and also a lot of people feel like we're so worried about offending other people that people will take offense to being called something other than their given name, that it's just phased out. This is such a sad thing for me.
Don't some parents pick out names with the idea that their kid is going to have a nickname? I have a friend who named his daughter Eloise, and he knew that they were going to call her Ellie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Our son Connell, he was born in Brooklyn, home of the legendary basketball player Connie Hawkins. I knew I was going to call him Connie before he was born. We were like, if it's a boy, it's Connell, and I will call him Connie because, by God, he will play in the NBA. And I forgot that his mom's 5'4". So anyway, but the point still remains.
Right.
No, that's absolutely right. I was called Beaver, but that's not all. In my family, And I said this yesterday and forgot. I later realized I was called Beaver, Buck, Bones, and Bonanza by my own brothers.
All B's.
Any of those.
Anything as long as it started with a B.
It could be in a row. Those 4 words. It'd be hey, Buck, pass me those potatoes. Hey, Bonanza, where's that? It's just any number, any situation. Those 4 words: Beaver, Buck, Bones, and Bonanza. What? Okay. My brother Doug is still Huggy to this day. It's what you do. I have friends from school. The smartest kid in my school, David McGuire, genius, graduate. He was the valedictorian.
Okay.
But he was really tall when he was young. He was 6'2" when he was in 7th grade, and he stayed that tall. But when he was in 7th grade and 6'2" and a little sluggish foot speed lacking, still trying to catch up to his body, somebody just tagged him with Mongo, and it stuck. He was Mongo.
Okay.
I saw him in our 30s at a golf scramble, and I said, "What's up, Mongo?" And then I went, "I'm sorry, David." He goes, "Thanks, man." Like, he appreciated the fact that I corrected it and used his given name.
Yeah, he earned his way out of Mongo.
But he
it
did.
Sounds, yeah.
But at the time, in high school, it was like, hey, man, sorry, dude. You get tagged on the soccer field, Mongo. You're Mongo for life. That's how that works.
Yeah.
651-989-ROCK. I want to know your best nicknames, either given to you or that you gave away. 651-989-ROCK. I'm going to wave this flag. We need to continue with the nicknames. That's all there is to it.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
I saw Men at Work on the first date of their first ever American tour.
Wow.
In 1983, when that song was like the #1 song in America. And I went down, me and my brother, we got tickets. We're like, hey, let's go see him. And like every Australian band I've ever seen, their drummer was amazing. Just Australian drummers, they try to destroy their kit. They hit so hard. And I was like, I had no idea that guy was he was back there in overalls, but no shirt underneath it. Muscle guy, balding already. He was probably 24, losing that hair up top. He just looked like a man's man. I was like, I got to get to Australia. That's where they know how to hit the drums.
In 2010, 2011, one of those two, when I was down in Omaha, one of the radio stations, one of the stations that was in our cluster down there, Colin Hay came in and just did him and an acoustic guitar.
He's incredible.
It was unbelievable.
Incredible. He played at my kid's school in Nashville one time, and I sat there just like, dude. Well, there's a fundraiser thing every year. I was the chair of Music Night, if you must know. And he was on a little label in Nashville, and so we had a bunch of people from this label, and all of a sudden they said, hey, Colin Hay will come if you want him. And I was like, yeah, you're damn right I do. Yeah. He's incredible in that setting. Him and a guitar. Man.
Also, fun fact, got Cargo on cassette in 4th grade when I had my tonsils removed.
In 4th grade?
That was my, I think it was 4th grade.
Most of us get ice cream. You got a cassette.
I did, yeah. I was in the hospital. That was my get well present from Mom and Dad.
Wow, the Pulowskis, man. That's tough love. Ice cream? Shut up. Here's some Australian pop.
Ice cream, too.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't say that. All right. I was just curious. Yeah. So we were talking about nicknames. Nicknames are on the way out. They've gone the way of the saber-toothed tiger, apparently.
It's upsetting.
We're all too concerned with our feelings to give kids nicknames anymore. I had another great one in high school. Soccer practice one day. A kid in my class named Eric, he was wearing a Brazilian national team jersey, the Brazilian soccer team, like Pelé, 70s. And the patch on the chest, to this day, it says CBD. That stands for the Confederation Brazilian Sports, but the letters in Portuguese, CBD. My brother Doug took one look at him, and the first words he said were, hey, chubby boy Dink. And from that day forward, he was either Chub or Dink. Yeah. That was it. He was never Eric again. And he didn't complain. No. It wasn't even a rite of passage. It was like getting a blue ribbon around your neck. Like, I've been given a nickname in practice. This is great.
That's incredibly high praise to be given a nickname. That's somebody telling you, even if it's a little off color or mildly insulting, it's somebody's way of saying, hey, I actually like you. I care about you. Otherwise, I wouldn't care enough to give you a nickname. It's an old trope, and it's true. If you give yourself a nickname, you're admitting that you've got a lot of social problems. The only person that ever pulled it off was Kobe Bryant. He decided, I want people to call me Mamba, and everybody was like, oh, dude, you grew up in Italy. You don't know how friends work. Yeah. But then eventually it worked because, well, he's pretty good at basketball, and everybody was like, oh, okay, screw it. He works harder than us. We'll call him Mamba. I have a good friend named Brooke, and when your name is Brooke,
That's just kind of, there's, Brooker, Hook. I mean, they're not, you just think about it. But it was a unique enough name where there was just never any reason to call him anything else. Like, I think that's what it is. If you're Steve or Doug or Bob or Mike, it's like you want a nickname. But Brooke he's the only Brooke anyone knew. And he said to me one day, he's like, man, how come you guys never give me a nickname? And I was like, oh, so sad. I appreciate your vulnerability, but I'm going to make fun of you now. And I was like, no, dude, you're Brooke. That's it. Great. Some of these on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. Now, see, here's a classic. Connie wrote it. Connie from Faribault. My last name, I assume before she was married, was Carr. So they called me Truck in high school. Of course, Truck.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we called a girl Truck. That was more because she reminded me of Leonard Truck Robinson, power forward for the Phoenix Suns. But that's a whole different story.
Go.
But these things happen.
In the hockey community, where I live a lot of my life,
right?
If you don't have a nickname, you're kind of... You're one of those that doesn't really fit too well. It's like everybody's got a nickname, even if it's just your name with E on the end. You know what I mean? Like Whitey or whatever it might be. If you're white, you might be Whitey. It's a part of the culture. Again, if you're not getting a nickname, it's almost an insult.
Well, sure, and it's like everything else. You don't want to do the participation trophy. You don't want to give everyone a nickname just so they have one. It's just one of those things. It's
gotta
subtle.
happen.
On the text line, I grew up with a kid named Booger because he ate his boogers in class with no shame.
Well, he earned that.
A, good for you, Booger. B, good for you kids naming him Booger. That's how it's supposed to go. Yep. This is before Revenge of the Nerds came out. I remember being told, you got to see Revenge of the Nerds. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go. I finally went, and I just laughed myself through the whole thing. Got the old cruise control set at 35. Always remember that. He said, I personally didn't like calling him that, but everyone did. Our 30th high school reunion last year, we all still called him Booger. And he still appreciated it. I guarantee it.
Damn straight.
Yeah, like Ryder said, he earned that one. I mean, and that's just, everybody there is doing life correctly,
How about this? My name is Hillary. At different times in my life, I have been called all of these by family, friends, or coworkers. Hilly Vanilli, Hilda, Hildo, Hillbilly, Hillschmill, Hillabeans, Hidalgo. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Hidalgo is great.
Yeah. By the way, the other one, if your name is Steve, you will be called by strangers regularly, including at KQ events, Steve Areno. Man, people can't get enough.
Leave a ding dong.
They can't get enough of Steve Areno. I'm feeling Minnesota. We got headlines coming up.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
This is Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Tuesday. It is April the 22nd. I, for one, I'm feeling awfully Minnesota. What's going on in the world, Paul?
Happy Earth Day, happy Jelly Bean Day, by the way.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Is that two different things, or it's the same conjoined? Or are we saying the Earth is just a jelly bean floating in space?
Yes.
Okay.
All of what you just said.
Perfect.
The Twin Cities' namesake naval ship, I didn't even know we had one, by the way, was recently
it's
involved.
It's a badass, yeah.
Yeah. Recently involved in 2 drug busts that seized more than $12 million in illegal goods. The USS Minneapolis St. Paul, which is on its maiden deployment in the Caribbean Sea, was recently involved in busting 2 alleged drug smuggling operations within 72 hours of each other. The biggest haul resulted in confiscation of 1,278 pounds of cocaine valued at $9.4 million.
Why can't we just call it the USS Minneapolis? Why do we have to tag St. Paul onto this thing?
Wow, shots fired.
St. Paul can go get their own naval ship.
Shots across the bow.
Yeah.
Who's to say it wasn't St. Paul's ship and they included Minneapolis?
Well, because Minneapolis comes first. You just read the name. You said the USS Minneapolis St. Paul.
That's how we've always said it.
Man, these border skirmishes, I get tense. I get tense.
First of all, drop the S&P.
Did you say 1,000 pounds of cocaine?
1,278, actually.
And it's worth $12 million?
$9.4 million.
It's been cut with some baby laxative. I'm sorry, that's not the good stuff. I don't know anything about how these things work. Move on.
It doesn't
Next
sound
story.
like you know at all.
Next story.
Walgreens has agreed to pay up to $350 million to settle U.S. prosecutors' allegations that it illegally filled millions of invalid prescriptions for opioids and other controlled substances. Quote, we strongly disagree with the government's legal theory and admit no liability. The government's lawsuit alleged Walgreens ignored red flags that prescriptions were illegal and filled them anyway. violating the Controlled Substances Act.
Yeah, I love that. We'll pay the fine, but we're not admitting it.
Right.
Just get over yourselves. You're a bunch of drug pushers like the guy on the street corner.
1,000%. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan voting wrapped up yesterday. 2.5 million ballots were cast. Fish led the way at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Top 5 ended up being Fish, Bad Company, Billy Idol, Cyndi Lauper, and Joe Cocker.
Wire to wire for the young lads from Vermont. Well done, Fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's this week. I just read this week they'll announce who's going in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
What's interesting is I think it's an important distinction to make that those are the top 5 fan voting. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're in, though. So
it's anything but a guarantee. The fan vote is
it's like one of many ballots.
one of well over 1,000. So doesn't mean squat.
Absolutely. If you don't have a dog, you might think every dog has behavioral problems. If you do have a dog, you might think that yours doesn't. So who's right? Well, a study at Texas A&M found over 99% of dogs in the U.S. have behavior problems. They collected data from more than 43,000 dogs, various breeds, ages, sizes, and locations. Dogs were analyzed based on stuff like aggression, separation and attachment issues, fear and anxiety, and, well, of course, pooping and peeing in the house.
Right. Yeah, they're dogs. Their brain is the size of a cashew. Of course they have problems.
I think if your dog's behavioral problems are minimal, then you have a well-behaved dog.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this one says 99% of them have behavioral problems. And like you said, that,
Well, yeah.
duh.
So that's low. It should just be 100%.
I think if you have a dog that doesn't have a single behavioral glitch, then you're either a trainer or a sadist, and probably both.
I'm saying the scale should be adjusted probably a bit. They're being a little too hard on the dogs.
Oh, I think what they're saying is, I know you think your dog is perfect, but nobody else thinks that way. I would not begin to even mount a defense in Chauncey Gorman's case. I'd say, dude, go get a public defender. I can't defend you. He's incorrigible.
Well, other than the snot thing, which is not a behavioral issue, like
he's wonderful with people. He's just there's other dogs. Sometimes he's a little persnickety. The greatest dog we ever had, Clementine Gorman, an angel. She was the best behaved, smartest, most intuitive, empathetic animal I've ever known. And even she had one serious fault, and it was a weird one. If she saw a 3-legged dog, she just wanted to put it out of its misery.
Oh, really? Wow.
This is a 105-pound Rottweiler lab mix who was an angel on earth, except for one. We only found one glitch in the Matrix. She would see a 3, and that was it. A dog with 3 legs, and you'd be surprised at how often you run into them at dog parks. She was like, I have to go kill that dog. It was like, hey, Clem, no, that's not cool.
And we currently, after, I don't know, we've had a handful, 6, 7 dogs over the course of my life. We currently have the best one we've ever had. Charlie Fletcher is... she's only a little Shih Tzu, but her only issue really is if she wants attention, she's getting it. If you're sitting on the couch with your phone in your face, she will knock the phone out of your hands with her nose and put her nose right to your nose and say, "Hey, love me."
I thought you were going to say her only issue is that she's a Shih Tzu, but that's where my brain went.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the small dogs?
Same with Ryder. Yeah, I like. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Just ride your own horse, brother.
Yeah,
Dance to your own beat.
I will. Thank you. It takes up less space. We get more space. I don't have to deal with shedding and stuff. She's great.
If you say so. If you say, just get a cat. Just get a cat if you want something that small.
No, they're idiots.
Sports, the Vikings in the draft, not going to be doing a whole lot of work. They only have 4 picks. O'Connell says they have no needs. They have some desires. You want to bolster the staff, but they have no glaring holes. That's a very good place to be. Tonight, Game 2, Wolves-Lakers at 9 p.m. I will get at least the first quarter in. Wild Golden Knights, 10 p.m. I will not see the puck drop.
No, not at all. Hey, really quick, our friends at the Wild wanted to let people know. I'm surprised by this. We're going to be giving away playoff tickets throughout the course of this week. They actually have playoff tickets you can buy, wild.com. Just want to get that out there in case you didn't know. Yeah. How is it not sold out?
Come on, folks. Get on with this.
Shocked by that.
I'm a little shocked by that myself. Cooper Flagg will go number 1 in the NBA draft. He is going pro after 1 season at Duke. This is the least surprising announcement. He said, yes, I'm going pro. I'll always be a member of the Duke Brotherhood. Whatever. You were there for 6 months. Naismith Player of the Year. He will be either a Washington Wizard, a Utah Jazz, or a Charlotte Hornet, which means we won't see him play basketball for about 4 more years.
Yeah.
Those teams teams suck, and he ain't good enough to bring them out of the doldrums. Delwood, Minnesota, you're on our minds right now. Delwood with 2 L's.
I'm not familiar with
Some
Delwood.
wood.
The farmer
Yes.
in the Delwood. Isn't that the old song?
I think that's the song.
Man, in your face, robots. There was a half marathon, 13.1 mile race in Beijing over the weekend.
Okay.
12,000 people ran, and 21 humanoid robots ran.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time ever for humans and bipedal robots to be running in the same race. Although they did use separate tracks for safety reasons.
So
That
my
makes
hack,
sense.
my hack was going to be to just knock the robots
Yeah.
over because I don't think they can get up.
Of
but
course.
that wouldn't have been allowed.
It wouldn't have been possible. They put them on different tracks. Only 6 of the 21 finished. So that's right, suck it. And most dropped out after early falling or becoming overheated. The fastest one to finish was an hour behind the first human finisher.
Ha-ha.
We're still in front.
We're still in front for what, 6 months? That's
I know.
usually
They
the
fell
race of
over
these things.
on their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, man.
Give them 3 months, and they'll be.
This is tough.
They'll figure it
and
out.
I'm sure that's on a flat track. Yeah, let's see them hike up the side of a mountain, okay? And yodel while they do it. I don't think so. We're still in charge, people.
Get to triathlon level and get back to me, robot.
If you'd lost to a robot, you'd just be bot the rest of your life, or robo dummy or something.
Yeah.
Great. We're talking nicknames. A lot of great texts coming in. 651-989-ROCK. Here's one. A sales guy at a previous shop wore hiked up jeans, always a size too small. We called him Moose Knuckle. Of course you did. The tight jeans. Another guy at the
Low-hanging
shop
fruit.
we called Handbook. Every time he did something that was questionable, there was always a notice put out of the employee handbook being updated. Handbook.
Wow.
That's great.
That's a phenomenal. That's how you do nicknames right there.
That is pretty great.
Yeah.
I play the lotto every now and again. It never dawned on me to just rig the system. But then again, I'm not very good at math. I buy lottery tickets occasionally, and I think to myself, how do I boost the odds? How do I give myself a better chance at winning? And so what I'll do is I will hand the guy a 5, and I'll say, I'll take a Powerball with the power play, and then he hands me back the 2 $1 bills, and then I'll take one of those ones and buy a bag of peanuts, and I'll think that might help.
Of course.
Just
It
anything
makes
I can
sense.
do.
That's an interesting tactic.
What it never occurred to me to do was buy enough tickets where I have every single possible combination of numbers to win. That didn't occur to me. However, that happened in Texas a couple years ago. A gambling syndicate. They bought every number combination possible on a lottery, on one of the big lotteries. They purchased 25.8 million lottery tickets. 25.8 million.
Okay.
At about $2 a pop. That's almost 26. That's almost $52 million. And then they won $95 million to clear about $32 million in profit.
It's not bad, though.
Here's it is. A London banker turned bookmaker and a few of his partners figured out if they get their hands on the official lottery ticket printing terminals, the ones you see in grocery gas stations and convenience stores, they could print out as many tickets as they wanted. Well, okay. So they flew to America. They set up 3 locations. I guess they got a license. They set up stores and were given lottery terminals. And then they bought dozens of the terminals and reams of paper and just went to work. And they just printed hundreds of tickets per second for days on end, not to customers, for themselves.
So they set up a fake convenience store.
Apparently
to
so.
basically try and game this. There's
Wow.
got to be like a financial breaking point at this.
They were putting in, as I said, they put in about $50 million to print 25.8 million tickets. You got to pay for them, I guess, as it happens.
Yeah.
But in 23, Texas allowed online ticket vendors to set up shops and print tickets for their customers. These guys were the only customers at their particular places.
Right.
For 3 days. For 3 days straight, they printed 100 or more tickets every second to come up with
100
all the
more
tickets
every
needed.
second. Wow.
And, they hit it. Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, said after it was discovered how they won, this is the biggest theft from the people of Texas in the history of Texas.
But did they do anything illegal?
I don't think so.
No.
Clearly
It's
not.
not the biggest theft.
So
They
once
played
it-
by the rules.
So once it gets up to like 95 million, they're going to do it again?
I
Can
guess
they
so.
stop them?
I think they've changed the rules now as far as they're
Okay.
not allowing that. But That's pretty good. I see. Again, I wouldn't have thought of that. I thought just buying that bag of peanuts gave me the edge.
Well, yeah. The other thing too is that it's tough to sometimes for some people it's tough to come up with $52 million. That's another problem.
I suppose.
It's difficult.
And then there had to be cost in setting up their shop, so to speak. And
I can assure you right now, if I found myself sitting on $52 million, I wouldn't go buy a lottery ticket. There's a lot of things I'd buy. I wouldn't go buy a Powerball.
Would you buy 2.5 million lottery tickets and assure yourself of winning?
25 million.
25. Oh, it's 25. Sorry.
The answer
yes,
is
25
no.
million.
The answer is no.
No.
Yeah.
No, in fact, I'll just give you guys this right now. I mean this. This is not a threat. It's a promise. If I get $52 million, you'll never see me again. Most of the people I've ever met, well, what happened to Steve? I don't know. He's gone. I'll be surrounded by salt water somewhere.
You're not going to leave me some clues, Shawshank Redemption style, to go hang out with you in the middle of nowhere?
There might be a little something, but it'll be a while. I'm going to get away. I'm going to get myself to a better mental and emotional state, and then I'll reach out.
Okay.
Then I'll send a little birdie.
Just
Looking forward to it.
leave a box under a stone up on a hill like they did in Shawshank.
I think what I would do is I'd honestly spend a bunch of that money and train like carrier pigeons to run, or ravens. I'd run messages to people on a piece of paper in the claw of a raven. I'd go Game of Thrones on it. That's how I'd communicate from that moment forward.
Okay, you get that dough. Where are you going to go?
Like I said,
it's got to be a secret location?
Yeah, of course.
We're not going to, once you get this dough, we're not going to remember where it was, so just say it anyway.
It ain't going to happen, bro.
Wow, okay.
No, I'm telling you. I am gone in capital G.
You're going to be in Fiji. That's where you'll be.
It's too far.
Not anymore.
Too far. Might have happened. Anybody got a hack for the pull tabs? I have yet to immerse myself fully in pull tab culture. Done it, seen it, I'm around it, but it's not something that's natural to me at all yet. So I guess what I'm looking for is a little hot tip. What's the secret?
How do you pick the box?
What's the secret? How do you win? Is there,
I've had success when you sweet talk the person that is running the boxes.
Okay.
They're not, in some cases, the rules are a little different place to place, but most of them they're not supposed to tell you.
Okay.
But if you are nice to them, they usually will tell you what's been hot, what hasn't been hot, et cetera, et cetera. You also look at the boards up there that are above the boxes.
Okay.
And they show you what winners are gone. You're going to want to look for the box that's the emptiest with the most left.
It's too much thought. It's
really not that much thought. It's pretty simple.
It's too much thought. Once I've cracked into the second beer, it's like I don't want to run numbers.
Dude, which box is low and which one has the most winners left? That's not a lot of thought.
But then you got to think about how much is it a $1 versus a $2? I don't know. I always screw it up. I come back to the table with like $20 in pull tabs, and Mr. Ryder always tells me I picked the wrong box.
See? See?
So.
By the time I'm on my second beer, this is pretty much where my brain goes. What Led Zeppelin song do I want to hear next? The first song on Led Zeppelin 4, Black Dog, was the third song Led Zeppelin played at the O2 Arena in 2007. The one last farewell show ever. That was the third song. I was at that show. And the first song was Good Times, Bad Times. It was exciting. Oh, my God, it's Led Zeppelin. I'm all freaking out. And then they played Ramble On. And it was like, they never played this live when they were really Led Zeppelin. This is cool, but it was okay. And it was Black Dog where it sunk in, where they clicked with each other.
Traction.
When they hit that middle section, that's when Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones became Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. And Jason was doing great, but it was really about those two guys locking in. And I remember sitting there, and as I'm saying this, I have giant goosebumps. I was like, holy crap, that's Led Zeppelin. Like, it took 3 songs for it to really hit me. Like, that's Robert Plant, and that's Jimmy Page, and that's John Paul Jones, and I didn't think I would ever see this band, and holy crap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Train going down the tracks.
It was pretty outstanding is what that was.
Sounds like maybe it was a little bit outstanding.
Yeah, I dug it. I really dug it. And then every now and again, when I would look at my wife like, I can't believe this, she would remind me that she saw them in 1977.
Right.
Okay.
But that's also why you're married.
We were discussing the fact that somebody rigged the Texas lottery. They bought 25 million tickets and then ended up winning and cashing in about 30 million in profit. But you got to have $50 million to buy 25 million tickets. I don't want to do that. How about the couple in Michigan that happened to be retired? A couple of retirees in Michigan. Jerry was this guy's name, and he said he always had a head for math. Right. A head for math.
And now he's got the time to really dive into doing some serious math.
Words that I've never said myself, ahead for math. There's a game in Michigan they call the roll down. And so unlike Mega Millions or Powerball, where it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, in roll down, once the jackpot hits $5 million and no one matches it, the money rolls down to the lower tier prize winners.
Okay.
So if you've matched 5 or 4 or 3 numbers as opposed to all 6 for the jackpot, you have better odds. This guy, Jerry, said in an interview very quickly, he goes, I saw the rules. And I went, well, hang on. If I played $1,100 mathematically, I'd have at least one 4-number winner. That's $1,000.
Right.
I divided 1,100 by 6 instead of 57 because I did a mental quick dirty and I came up with 18. So I knew I'd have either 18 or 19 3-number winners. That's $50 each. At 18, I got $1,000 for a 4-number win. Okay, I'm confused already, and I'm reading the words.
When I do a mental quick dirty, it has nothing to do with math.
Trust me.
What is a mental quick dirty even?
You've never been to Tijuana?
Yeah.
I have not.
And so this guy is saying this is just basic arithmetic. When he read the rules, he said it took him less than 1 minute looking in the convenience store at the rules to realize, So when it came down, they the next time they announced a roll down, hey, $5 million is rolling down, he bought $3,600 in windfall tickets, and he won $6,300, as he knew he would. Then he went back $8,000, doubled that investment, and he just started doing this for quite some time. And he just couldn't. He said he was playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They set up a corporation for investment strategies. They won $853,000 on
investment strategy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then they were telling friends, "Hey, this is how it works." Dude pulled out. I mean, this is major money. He and his wife just did this for month. Every time there was a roll down, they just went in and bought a ton of tickets. Told all their friends. They had a thing. They called it Jerry's Club. 25 friends were all in on this racket. And by the way, completely legal. They just understood the math. I'm
dumbfounded by this.
Somebody who's writing these lotto rules should have caught on to this.
You would think so. They bought over time. They bought between 17 and 18. They bet between 17 and 18 million dollars, and they profited $3 to $4 million.
Whoa!
So they weren't. It's not like they're getting mass. They're getting a legitimate return, but it's not like they bet 17 million and won 100. But still, they put in 17 million and pulled back 20. $3 million profit is $3 million profit.
100%. I can almost guarantee you that the people that write the rules for the lottery are looking at this, and they're going to probably adjust those rules. 9
years of this, they cleared $26 million over 9 years.
That's not bad.
This is Jerry and his wife. They're retirees. 9 years of retirement, that's $26 million. Okay, good job. Again, I'm just going to keep buying one bag of peanuts with the dollar I get back in change. Because when you hand me 2 single-dollar bills, I think in my head, well, I should hang on to one of those because you never know when you're going to need it. And with the other one, it's burning a hole immediately, and I'll get that bag of peanuts for 69 cents, and then I have 31 cents that I don't know what to do with. These are the things I deal with in a day.
That's the kind of math that you're doing. It's not making you $3 million bucks.
At this point, you can just toss that 31 cents in the jar and leave it there pretty much.
Anything I can do to discuss the fact that it's literally and figuratively just a bag of peanuts.
Yeah.
And Paul Fletcher, I would love to know what the hell is happening in the world.
Happy Earth Day, happy Jelly Bean Day, by the way.
Jelly Bean Day.
Yeah,
nice.
That's a good thing.
Can't remember the last time I had a jelly bean. Honestly, it's been years and years and years.
You're not much of a sugar guy.
I didn't make a conscious decision to avoid jelly beans, but I can't remember the last time someone offered me one. Did you really?
Yeah, because they're friggin' gross. And I even did the nasty jelly beans one time. You guys know what I'm talking. Like you give them to the kids, and it tastes like puke or rotten eggs or something like that. To see if maybe it was the savory thing instead of they're no good either.
The thing is I get sucked into them because you're right. They're all gross, but then I'll go, you know what? A couple of those sounds good, and then I'm always regretting it. The city of Hopkins will change its name to Paige Beckers next month to honor the former resident and #1 WNBA draft pick. The city council adopted a motion to rename the city Paige Beckers on May 16th, coinciding with her debut in the WNBA. Pretty cool.
Paige Beckers, Minnesota. I go to a chiropractor out there. I guess I'll have to reset it in my ways that day to remember where I'm going.
A frequent texter of ours, Barry, said he was going through the Dallas airport, and they've already got her picture up there. So we better stake our claim on her being Minnesotan.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
The Department of Education will resume collections and defaulted federal student loans on May 5th, potentially garnishing wages for millions of workers who have not made payments for over a year. Defaulted borrowers will be contacted before the May deadline and encouraged to set up an income-driven repayment plan or sign up for loan rehabilitation.
Oof.
Is that covered under workman's comp?
Boy, I don't know. All I know is this. I remember very clearly somebody looking at me and going, you can get out of anything except a student loan.
Yeah.
And that guy worked at a bank. And I was like, okay, glad to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do not mess with that one.
That was around the time I went in there and said, hey, both my kids are looking, my second kid now, like my first, is looking at an out-of-state college situation.
Oh, boy.
I was just mentioning it like, I can't believe this crap. And he was like, well, if you're thinking about loans, just know one thing. Mm-hmm. You can't get, he gave you like the little devil horns and there was smoke in the room all of a sudden. You'll never escape. I was like, yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Good to know.
They follow you forever like some diseases.
Not like in the old day when you could just get a good old-fashioned Pell Grant and then take it to then go play pickup basketball 8 hours a day. That's what I did. Thanks, Senator Pell. My game got great in college.
That's great to hear. Hey, this feels like a teacher scolding students almost for not doing homework. The Academy has instituted a key rule change for 2026 Oscars, requiring the voters watch all the nominated movies in each category if they want to participate in the final voting.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to enforce this, but at least it's in writing.
Man, you have to, even the boring ones, do you have to watch the boring Oscar
if you want to
nominees?
vote, here's the thing. It's all a joke. It's like they're movies. Like, I could think one is awesome. You could think it's trash. How are you going to put awards on it? But here's the thing. If you're going to participate in the world and you want to have a final vote, then yes, you have to watch the boring ones too.
Okay. If you're in the industry and you want to give your own industry a pat on the back, the least you can do is sit through the films. I would agree with that.
I mean, I could see them voting like, "Oh, my friend's in this one, so I'm going to vote for this one." But you know what? You should have to watch the films.
Is it too much to ask? Really? Just put it on.
I don't
just
think
watch
it is. Yeah. In the town of Kawara, Japan, kids have found a new hobby: trading cards featuring senior citizens and middle-aged men in their community. This is awesome.
Old man strength.
I love this. A local artist put together the cards to showcase the hobbies and personalities of the guys, turning them into local celebrities. The most popular card is 68-year-old Mr. Fuji. Sounds like a wrestler. A former prison guard turned community volunteer. His card is so popular, kids line up to get his autograph.
Hell yeah, they do.
Yeah. Cool backstory. If this was an Oscar-nominated movie, this would not be one that I would skip.
They should make a documentary for Netflix about this story.
It's very good to know. Speaking of Oscars, it's Jack Nicholson's birthday I saw earlier today. Jack Nicholson has won 3 Oscars. And how about this? This is, you want to know what kind of actor he is? Every time he won an Oscar, his female co-star also won an Oscar.
Oh, that's
How about
pretty
that?
cool. Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying, like, hey, man, he elevates the talent around him, gives everybody a great shine.
Yes.
Well done, Jack.
He's 88 years old today, too, so
88.
Make sure we appreciate all that's left of him, because who knows how much longer a run he's got.
That's right.
That's all I got. What do we got in sports, sir?
No shortage of things happening in the world of sport. The Vikings draft looking ahead. Not a whole lot of action going to be happening with the purple and gold. They only have 4 picks, and Kevin O'Connell says, which is a nice thing to be able to say, we're in a place where we really don't actually, quote, need to do anything. There's no glaring hole. There's no gaping, gnawing need on the roster. They did really well in free agency to shore up any deficiencies. They feel also very confident that J.J. McCarthy will be ready to take over from day one in camp. He will be QB1. They're not looking back. There's no thoughts. And in fact, they're so confident that they're not even concerned yet with who the backup's going to be. They have Brett Rypien in there, I should say. But they're still looking around at a more seasoned backup quarterback. But again, it's hardly a priority. JJ's the man. We're moving forward with the young lad out of Michigan.
I like it. I mean, these guys are built to start day one these days. You know what I mean? It may not go perfectly every time. And every player's a little bit different, but they're built to start nowadays.
His day one is better than most because he did have a season holding that clipboard, and he watched Sam Darnold do it. And I think there's the best things for a quarterback in my mind is a year with holding that clipboard. That seems to work out pretty well, generally speaking. Wolves-Lakers game 2 tonight. Looking very forward to watching the first few minutes of it as they tip off at 9 p.m. I will not see any of the Wild Golden Knights because they dropped the puck at 10 p.m.
That's insanely late. The cool thing is when they come home, I think they'll be playing at normal hours. And by the way, there are single-game playoff tickets available, if you can believe that. Even a select number of premium seating. And they're doing a food drive before Game 4. Those are always things you can get behind.
Very much so.
But I can't believe there's single-game tickets available for the playoffs. It's crazy.
Well, you know what? If they come back tied up, those will be gone. If they get a win tonight, I don't think there'll be a single ticket remaining for Game 3.
I think you're completely right.
South St. Paul, or as I call it, South St. Paul. Glad to have you with us this morning.
The Packers.
Is that who they are?
That's their nickname, yeah.
The South St. Paul Packers?
Yeah. Used to be a hell of a high school hockey program, not so much anymore, but they're still around.
I will take your word for that, sir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and just in my own mind, I'll look back and think the sepia-toned glory days of the South St. Paul Packers.
Yeah, those runs, they were historic at one point.
They had that one guy, they run up the left side, that big dude.
Yeah,
one
guy.
Was great.
Yeah, he was really good.
That was awesome.
That a goalie too, I'm sure at some point that was pretty great.
We're looking at 70 degrees today almost. If not 70, high 60s and sunny this afternoon. Puts me in the mind to go out there and grab a golf club and swing it a few times. If you, like me, are waiting to get out on the links, the 2025 Tee It Up Golf Card number 3, presented by Club Champion, is on sale right now. You will be able to golf 7 area courses, and you will save over $200 while doing it. Text the word golf, GOLF, to 651-989-ROCK for more information or to purchase. Are you aware of the fact that in families, twins skip generations? That's true. That's an old thing you hear, but it's true. They skip a generation. And did you know that twins can actually be really, really, really creepy?
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Okay, look, I am sorry if you're a twin or if you love twins. I said they can be really creepy, but they can be. Especially, listen, it's very true, okay? Twins oftentimes do develop their own language. Like, as they're learning to speak, twins come up with words that only they understand. This is very common. By the time the vocabulary expands, by the time they're fully speaking toddlers, a lot of that goes away.
Okay.
But it's a very, very common thing for twins to just communicate in blurbs and blobs and bloops that no one else understands.
Lots of nonverbal cues, too, that they can just kind of, you know what I mean? That they know what each other's talking about without anybody else having any idea.
Have either of you seen anything like this in person between, twin babies?
I'm trying to think. No, I don't know that I've ever been around twin babies. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I've never seen them as babies.
Wow.
I went to school with twins. It was a boy and a girl, so they obviously weren't identical. But yeah, you would like. I guess the easiest comparison would be to say that like they're like an old married couple where they just could. You could see them like communicating with each other without hardly saying a word. The rest of us are like, whoa, what are you even talking about?
There is a news story from Australia that is prompting this very conversation. There was an attempted carjacking, but it's a really wild story.
Yeah.
A guy in Australia driving a Porsche causes a crash where another driver was killed. It was a deadly crash. The Porsche driver, who's responsible for this accident, jumps out of his car with a gun in his hand, then pulls over an SUV, carjacks that driver to escape the scene, and then he's chased by police, and his car crashes, and he's arrested.
Sounds like a Michael Bay movie.
It does. So this is all pretty crazy. Well, here's where the twins come in. 2 women named Bridget and Paula Powers, twins in their 50s, identical twin sisters, witnessed this whole thing go down. And in fact, they and their mother witnessed it. Their mom ran in to try to help out the whole scene. She just saw people in distress and jumped right into the fray.
Old person strength.
Damn straight. Local news was on the scene, and they interviewed Bridget and Paula. Again, 2 identical twins in their 50s, and this is the 2 of them, not one of them, not going back and forth. Here are the 2 of them recounting what they saw.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum. He went up there and he was coming back down towards us and he goes, run, he's got a gun. and our heart started to pound and I said, oh, Mum, where's Mum? And poor mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave mum, she goes, "Are you all right?" Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
I just hear the X-Files theme song underneath that every time I hear that audio.
I'll shoot you.
They're just, they're not saying they're not just running down the alphabet together. They're saying full sentences and words where they know exactly where the other one's going. They're recounting. They didn't have time to practice their story.
No.
And by the way, if you look them up, they've been interviewed before. Like, what's his name? Piers Morgan interviewed them once years ago.
Okay.
They've done things. They run a bird sanctuary, so in Australia they've appeared in public oftentimes, and this is just what they do. They just speak, and they said they've spent their whole lives together. And I think what isn't said is without a lot of other people around them, and they just kind of live as one. Kind of a weird twin thing. Here's something I've also heard this, and apparently it's true. Mothers of twins tend to live longer. Like if you deliver twins, you have a longer expected lifespan.
I think that's fair. I think you've earned that.
Is it because you get more of the demon seed out of your body?
I guess so.
Like,
my wife Rosemary. Okay, so her oldest brother, Mike, is married to Maggie. Maggie's a wonderful woman. I've known her for 30 plus years. Maggie's oldest sister has 8 children, 5 sets of twins.
No.
I'm sorry, it's not 5. 3 sets of twins and 2 singles. Sorry, I got that. No, she has 8 kids. This is her 5 pregnancies: twins, single, twins, single, twins. 8 kids.
If that life expectancy thing is true, she's going to be 212 years old.
Well, she's 119 right now.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, she's on her way.
Yeah.
Every muscle below my waist just hurts right now.
8 kids with 5 of them twins. I remember when right after Connell was born, we were in our neighborhood. There was another couple that we knew just to say hi, walking the dog and walking. A woman who was she had the same due date as Rosemary. Coincidentally, we met one day. Hey, I'm pregnant. You're pregnant. When are you due? And they both were like July 17th. Hey, and that's all we knew them as. That other couple around the corner. And I was walking down the street with baby Connell, who was probably 6 weeks old, in a Bjorn, that little holder. And I'm taking him down the street, and I see the dad of this other couple walking towards me, and he's got a stroller with 2 babies in it.
Uh-oh.
And I looked at him, and I go, "Are you twice as tired as me?" And he said, "At least." That's the last time I ever saw that guy, and I've never forgotten him. I'm like, oh, my God, we had no idea they were having twins.
When you have one, you can do zone coverage. You have twins, it's man-to-man all the time.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that could be good about that is if you have twins first, then you don't know how much easier it would be with one. What you have is what you know.
Right.
I can't imagine people who have, like I have a nephew, and he and his wife had a baby, and then 3 years later, they then had twins.
Yeah.
Get the twins first, and then the second. Then if you have a single, then you're like on vacation.
Yeah, if you could choose that, sure. But we don't get to control that too often.
Wisconsin, Texas, and Florida. What the is going on over there? WTF.
Oh, dude.
A game we love to play. Today's game does come with a prize. We've got Heart tickets. They're playing the Grand Casino Hinckley on June 7th. And in a little while, in a few minutes, we're going to open up the phone lines. Don't call right now. Don't waste your time. We're not going to answer. This is how it works. WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. We share 3 stories. Today, Ryder's going to share 1 story from each state, I believe.
That's how I set it. We might, go rogue in the future, but that's how I did set it up today, just to keep things in line. And I do think, too, we'll just recap, since we've been doing this on Gorman in the morning, Steve has 1 win. Fletcher has 1 win. I have 0 wins, and I'm a little salty about it. So,
well,
there's still a lot of time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play you. We'll hear for the first time. Ryder has set up 3 stories: 1 from Wisconsin, 1 from Texas, 1 from Florida. Fletcher and I will both weigh in on where we think these stories emanate, and then we will ask again in a few minutes to have some callers call in. The first person who calls in and gets 3 for 3 is going to pick up those Heart tickets. Does that all make sense?
Yep. Crack that code.
All right. Heart at Grand Casino Hinckley. I mean, make a weekend out of it, or a couple days.
Go. All right, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. The first one, you will not... there's so much potty language in this one, you guys have no idea.
Many explosive pieces of history that would otherwise be wiped away are tucked deep in the bowels of America's greatest museums. and the people who run them take a duty in preserving the past.
Oh, boy.
And that's why one man made it his lifelong mission to collect toilet seats.
Up until his death last year, Barney Smith rolled out more than 1,300. A piece of the Space Shuttle Challenger, $1 million, shredded into teeny tiny pieces. He even snagged a toilet seat from the palace of Saddam Hussein.
He never got tired of it, or he never got pooped.
This was already no ordinary art museum. And now, it will be a lasting tribute to one of most quirky characters.
Look, it's not the best museum in the world, but it's at least a solid number 2.
Jeez, so Pete.
And that is 50 seconds of a 2.5-minute report. The poop puns just keep on coming.
Man, they are rolling.
Okay, so that's your first one. Where is the Toilet Seat Museum?
Okay.
Here is the second story.
All right, new this morning, this woman right here lands behind bars after police say she was selling human bones online and at her store. 52-year-old Kimberly Scoper is accused of selling human bones listed for $850 through her business Wicked Wonderland and Facebook Marketplace. She was charged with the purchase and sale of human organs and tissue. She was released yesterday morning after posting a $7,500 bond.
Selling human bones.
Oh, okay.
We might get into some of the prices for that a little bit later.
Find another business, man.
If I didn't know we were playing WTF, I'd say that's absolutely Michigan. So I got to do some thinking here.
And the last one, brewery runs out of beer.
Monday morning at newest brewery, and things much quieter than 48 hours ago.
It was everything we dreamed the place could be and thought it could be in a couple years. It was like that on weekend one, so it was outstanding. A great problem to have.
Just take a look at this picture from Friday. You can see a line stretched from inside Lion's Tail Brewery to the patio and out to the curb.
Yep. When did you realize that, no, this is maybe...
At about 3. The line started to grow.
Opening weekend was so successful here that hours into it, they realized they needed more beer. So they called in an extra shipment to be delivered Saturday. But after more success Saturday, they realized they had to close Sunday in order to recoup.
Let's be clear to everyone out there. We are not low on beer overall as a business. We were low on beer down here.
In Sharon Jordan.
Where might a brewery running out of beer make the evening news?
Oh, my God.
Good God.
Is it what you think it is, or is it a red herring? Who knows?
2 weeks ago when we did that, when we played, everything was so clear to me. I am completely baffled by all three of these.
Yeah, this is a good little batch here, Ryder.
Okay. So
the non-regional diction is rampant, like it's impossible to pick up on anything.
All right.
And they're all bonkers.
So give me the protocol.
Toilet Seat Museum.
Yep.
Selling human bones.
Yep.
And brewery runs out of beer. First person through with all of those correct, you're picking up the tickets and
651-989-ROCK. Light them up and load them up. And so we'll give our votes after, and we'll see who we're going to match with.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We are smack dab in the middle of a game of Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. WTF. And Ryder's got that look on her face. She's rubbing her hands together.
Oh, dude,
I feel like you got a winner locked in already on the phones.
Yeah, Brian nailed it.
Wow. Brian.
Hey there, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Morning.
How you feeling, brother?
Great now.
All right, great now. All right.
So Brian has cracked the code. Stephen Fletcher, let's get your answers, and then Brian will let us know who's right.
Okay. So
first one, Toilet Seat Museum.
Okay, I'll go ahead and just jump all over this one. That to me just says Lone Star State. I got Texas.
I got Florida.
Brian,
what do we got?
It's Texas.
Nice.
Got a boy, Brian.
Okay, next one. Woman selling human bones.
I had this one in Texas. It's clearly not correct.
Oh, no. I'll explain it later, but by the process of elimination, this clearly has to be Florida.
Brian?
And he's right. It's Florida.
Boom.
Bam. Boy, Fletch, this ain't your day, brother.
Doing the math, it looks like Steve's got another W.
At least I figured out that brewery running out of beer was in Wisconsin.
There you go.
Because that was tricky. Because it's like, well, this is so obvious. It's probably not. But then I went, no, it has to be.
Yeah, that's what it was. The brewery running out of beer. Brian, go ahead and complete the trifecta.
That would be Wisconsin.
That would be.
There you go.
That was my first thought, too. We see it every year. Per capita, more beer consumed in Wisconsin by its residents than anywhere else. I thought, I'm not going to overthink this one.
Yeah. I rarely get proud of our neighbors, but I definitely do when those stats come
absolutely.
out.
Brian just ran the table, as did I. But I don't get Hart tickets. But Brian, June 7th at Grand Casino Hinckley. Have a good night, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Good times.
I saw a clip of Hart the other day online. Somebody posted it, and Ann Wilson was singing. She was in a wheelchair on stage, so she had some health issues.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, still hits every note. My God, that woman can sing.
Nice.
Hadn't lost a single half step.
The godmothers of grunge, as they like to call them now.
And why not? You know, it's funny. I'll tell you, true story. Opened for Hart in 1990. The Black Crowes, my former band. We opened for Hart. It was our second big, we opened for Aerosmith and then the next dates. And we didn't want to open for Hart in 1990 because at that time it was like 80s glam pop side of Hart. This wasn't 70s cool rockin' Hart. They had gone very soft. And we were like, we don't want to go out with Hart. And our manager said, okay, well, you guys can just go home for 3 weeks. And then we were like, I think we'll go out with Hart. Because we had just decided we never wanted to be home again. And we went out and we opened that tour in Winnipeg, our friends to the north in Manitoba. And that audience looked at us like we were plague-ridden, flea-ridden varmint. They had nothing to do with a bunch of dudes from Georgia playing loud rock music. They literally sat on their hands.
In
just
Winnipeg?
the most, they couldn't wait for us to be off stage. And so we decided, well, let's just focus on getting better. And the first, 6 or 7 shows, all in Canada, every night was the same. The audience had no interest, and so we would face each other. Our singer turned and faced me at the drum kit, and we stood in a circle, and we treated it like rehearsal. We didn't stop and restart songs, but we worked through the set. And honestly, it's the best thing that ever happened to us because we just got our confidence and got better by ignoring the and the more we ignored the audience, the more they started to like us.
Play hard to get.
It was exactly what it was.
Yeah.
A little odd lesson in Canadian rock crowds.
Nice.
Go figure. When you least expect it.
What year was this?
1990.
In fairness, Rock and Roll Hop probably hadn't made it to Winnipeg by then.
But if we were the first people to bring it, I apologize to our friends in Manitoba. We were hardly the deserving servants of your first platter of rock music.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning.
What's that?
Gorman in the morning. Gorman in the morning. Gorman in the morning.
Let's make a song out of that.
Well, if I were my old record player as a kid, that's what it would have sounded like. You used to have to put a penny on the stylus to stop all the skips.
Oh, yeah.
You know how that goes.
I would drop a quarter when I was at the college station right on the label to get it to quit skipping.
Oh, really?
Trick. And my husband freaks out. He's like, that's horrible for the turntable.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But you know what? We do what we have to do to hear the music we need to hear.
Correct.
I just read a study that says music is an opioid. The effect of music that you love has on your brain, it's no different than when you take opioids. So put down the pills and put on the rock. I may have I might have left out a few key details there, but it's pretty much what it said. This is Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Tuesday, April 22nd, and we are feeling Minnesota. Headlines, please, sir.
Happy Jelly Bean Day. The Twin Cities' namesake naval ship was recently involved in 2 drug busts that seized more than $12 million in illegal goods. The USS Minneapolis St. Paul Rider, which is on its maiden deployment in the Caribbean Sea, was recently involved in busting 2 alleged drug smuggling operations within 72 hours of each other. The biggest haul resulting in 1,278 pounds of cocaine, worth more than $9.4 million.
Damn.
That's a lot of cocaine, man.
Yes.
Sorry.
I feel like that math is off, though.
It seems like it's off to me.
Yeah, Al Pacino would not appreciate it.
I don't think he would like that profit margin at all.
No, it doesn't seem worth it.
He had that much on his desk at the final scene of Scarface, didn't he?
Yeah, and then some.
I think it's great that the Minneapolis St. Paul is in the Caribbean. You know what I mean? You're just like, we're going to name it after you up in Minnesota. We'll send you down to the warm weather. And, there's a USS Pensacola, and that bad boy's in the Arctic Circle right now.
Yeah,
just to mess with the kids on deck. back.
Yeah, absolutely. Walgreens has agreed to pay up to $350 million to settle U.S. prosecutors' allegations that it illegally filled millions of invalid prescriptions for opioids and other controlled substances.
No.
Quote, we strongly disagree with the government's legal theory and admit no liability, says Walgreens. The government's lawsuit alleged Walgreens ignored, quote, red flags that prescriptions were illegal and filled them anyway.
What was the fine? How much are they paying?
Up to, it's $300 million, but if they are bought or sold, or if they're sold or merged before the fiscal year of 2032, then it's $350.
$300 million to
make it
avoid
go away,
being
basically.
found guilty and having to spend 10 times that much.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
That's a lot of lawyer speak right there.
Sure is.
It's lawyer speak for guilty as charged. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan voting wrapped up yesterday. 2.5 million ballots were cast. Fish led at the beginning, they led in the middle, and they led at the end. The top 5 were Fish, Bad Company, Billy Idol, Cyndi Lauper, and Joe Cocker, as voted on by you.
My favorite Fish song is that one that goes. Bing, bing, ding, ding, bing, 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 bing. Does anybody? Can you hum a Fish song?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the collab with Widespread Panic, and then the two of them will just make the same song together.
Oh my God.
And it'll be 85 minutes.
Yes, it will.
And it'll smell.
And the last time I saw Widespread Panic, they walked out. The house lights were still down. They hadn't even started playing yet, and everybody was dancing. And I was like, "This is a racket. This is a racket. You're already dancing. They haven't even started." Anyway,
that was my first full-time radio gig. 1998 was in Vail, Colorado, and there were Widespread fans all over the place. Man, we're gonna go check out the Panic, man.
yeah, man, of course. One of the great band names of all time. And the first time I heard them, I was like, that's what Widespread Panic sounds like. Didn't match the band at all.
No.
But I love
100%.
the name. It's a great band name.
Yeah, it's funny because the name drew me in, and then I went, oh, that's a bummer.
Nicest guys in the world.
Really?
Athens, Georgia boys. Known them all forever. They're great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good for them. If you don't have a dog, you may think every dog has behavioral issues. If you do have a dog, you might think yours doesn't. Well, who's right? Texas A&M did a study, and they found that over 99% of dogs in the U.S. have behavioral problems. That's not shocking. 43,000 dogs were tested for this data. Breeds, ages, sizes, locations. They also analyzed stuff like aggression, separation, and attachment issues, fear and anxiety, and then pooping and peeing in the house, of course.
Best thing I ever did as far as dogs go, I have a buddy in Atlanta who's a dog trainer. His dogs are unlike any animals you've ever been around. I swear he had a pit bull named Olive, and she could make an omelet if you asked her nicely. His dogs are beyond belief as far as how they behaved and how they are coachable, and they do whatever he says at every time. And he would say to me, I never forget their dogs. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, their brains are the size of a nut. He goes, don't ever, ever, ever forget that you have a dog there. Which reminded me of when the guy said he never forgot that Hannibal Lecter was Hannibal Lecter. You know, Barney, the orderly in the movie.
Right.
I never forget who he was. And I've never looked at my dogs the same since. 99% do cats. It's 110%. They're all crazy.
They are absolutely bat-you-know-what crazy.
That's a fact right there. The world of sports. The Vikings have 4 draft picks in the draft, and they're not sweating it. Kevin O'Connell says we're in a really great place where we don't have any needs that are gnawing needs. We don't have a gaping hole to fill. We're going to try to, we'll bolster the roster. We'll get 4 players we think are good, but they're not sweating it because of free agency and just the last few years of stock in the cupboard. The Vikings feel very strong about their roster. Most importantly, J.J. McCarthy is more than ready to be QB1.
Do you go Maverick and just draft like all kickers just to screw with people?
No.
Well, you know what? If you do, somebody's going to call you and someone's going to need a kicker, and they're going to be like, oh my God, is that guy any good? Come
You're
on,
still
give me a
not
kicker.
going to get your value back, though. It
Crazy
doesn't,
smart.
This doesn't matter.
Oh, look, what does this mean? Come on.
Kickers.
What? Don't get your value back?
Yeah.
If you got the right one. Come on, man. You get you can go.
If you have the right kicker, you might be able to get 2 4th-round picks in return.
Sports fans, get ready for some action tonight. And by tonight, I mean night.
Midnight.
Wolves-Lakers Game 2 tips off at 9 p.m. If you're more of a hockey guy or gal, 10 p.m. puck drop for Vegas Golden Knights hosting our Minnesota Wild.
It's insanity.
That is insanity.
I'm waiting, just one of these days, let's have a game in, I don't know, Hawaii, and have it be at 3 in the morning so that we can sleep up until then and watch the game up until we go on the air.
I got to say,
just one time.
If there's one thing that is really impossible to adjust to, but then becomes amazing, it's living on the West Coast sports times.
Dude, 10 a.m. kickoff?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it at first. We were only in California for a few years, but at first I was like, I don't know about this. And then I'm like, oh, this is heaven. Yeah. It's good stuff. One last note from the world of sport. Alex Ovechkin scored last night. The first ever. Check this out. This is the leading goal scorer in NHL history. Not the leading scorer, but the leading goal scorer ever. Yeah. And last night, for the first time ever, he scored a playoff overtime goal. Still doing things for the first time in his 40s.
That's neat.
Well, keep in mind, too, that the playoff goals don't count towards the goal total.
See, thank you for reminding me. I did, and it had slipped away. I've heard that before.
And so, I'm sure he's had an overtime game-winning goal in the regular season.
Sure.
But not in the playoffs. Yeah, for sure. Different animal, second season.
Woodbury, good morning. Woodbury, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us.
That's a good place to bury wood.
Oh, please. You've never been to Woodbury.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm the only Minnesotan in this room, pal.
What are you talking about? What? I was born at Riverside Hospital, dude.
I thought you said you weren't.
Wait,
I initially thought you were, but then I thought you said you weren't. Okay.
No, man.
Hey, Ryder.
The roots run deep in South Minneapolis.
Hey, Ryder. I said the only Minnesotan in this room.
He is across the glass.
Oh,
okay,
man.
That's lawyer
technicalities.
That's legal.
That is some lawyer speak there.
Yeah, legalese.
Yeah, well, all I know is someone just made a fist when you said that, so watch your back.
Bring it. How about this? Jeffrey just texted in on the talk and text line. I think y'all play the best music in town. That's kind of nice to hear.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Brown noser.
How about that?
Wow.
You think that's what it is?
No, love you, Jeffrey.
Flattery's going to get you pretty far around here, JJ.
That is true.
Trust me on that one. We were talking about nicknames. Great nicknames we've given, great nicknames we've received in life. I was just reminded, we had an English teacher, Mr. Anderson, and he told us this cockamamie story one day about World War II. American intelligence was trying to develop a program where they would involve bats to drop incendiary devices in enemy cities. Like actual bats, like Mexican free-tailed bats would carry tiny little incendiary devices. They'd swarm into a city, drop them, and then you would light a whole city on fire. And it was abandoned because someone finally went, guys, we can't train bats to drop bombs. So anyway, but he told us a story, and he was really excited about it. Yeah. And so his nickname the next day from that day forward was Bruce.
Of course.
Batman.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Just
Nailed
Bruce.
it.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. Nicknames we've had. Coworkers' nicknames are the best. Beetlejuice. One guy wrote in, this is a text, Forrest Gums, because he has more gums than chiclets. Forrest Gums. And another guy named Blister, because he always shows up when the work is done. Final tally for some nicknames. This one came into the text line.
Okay.
3 skins, because I'm too small to have foreskin. Wow. I like this. A guy sent in a text of just his high school nicknames that he knew. Mouse, Rhino, Ozzy, Duck, Hefty, Fudd, Froggy, Resin, Weed, Runt, Bear, Fox, Pudge. It goes on and on and on. Those were the good old days.
Wow, a lot of wilderness references in there.
Just a lot of life
I felt like
references.
A lot of things you'd find in the head shop there.
That's a bunch of high school kids, Livin. That's exactly what they were doing.
Oh, shit.
We're just about, it's you know what it is? It's late morning at this point. So we're no longer welcome here. Paul, what do you got going on today?
I'm going to play a bunch of music.
Cool.
The cool stuff that Jeffrey was talking about a minute ago, but I was playing the best music in town.
Right.
I'm going to do that, and I'll probably drop some anecdotes and maybe some Minnesota stuff and just have a good old time.
Well, fair enough.
What?
That sounds like a plan, Ryder.
Do you not have hockey tickets? Fletcher?
Do I?
To give away today?
I do have hockey tickets. Yes, you're right. I do for playoffs. That's right.
Jeez,
you're
dude.
right.
Way to bury the lead.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we've given a lot today, and my mind is tired.
Boy.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't let Fletcher forget about these hockey tickets. They are primo.
Last I checked, the playoffs are happening, and there's hockey tickets to be given away. Go get them, baby.
Well, there usually aren't. That's why it's so surprising. You know what? I hadn't shifted into midday guy yet. I was still being morning guy.
And I think we're going to hear from the Red Rocker tomorrow.
Oh, right. Sammy Hagar, a little appearance on Gorman in the morning. I'm looking very forward to that. You stay seated, Mr. Ryder. You and I are free to leave the cabin.
Fine.
Gorman in the morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.